Alabama coaches are not messing around. Stick around. Let's talk about everything they had to say after their big road win over at Missouri. This is Way Offside. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome into Way Offsides, Alabama. Whoo, it's good to be an Alabama fan right now. They're coming off of a huge road win over at Missouri, top 15 win. They're going to get another chance at another top 15 team with Tennessee comes to town. Then you got South Carolina bye week. I think a bye week, Oklahoma, or maybe it's South Carolina, Oklahoma bye week. Hopefully the former and not the latter. Either way, Bama's on a roll, but the work is not done. They have to continue getting better week in, week out, and the coaches absolutely know that. And there is a chance that some of the coaches are reading what you have to say over on social media. We're going to talk about that in a second, but before we get there, really quick, we got to plug the channel. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and do it. We're Way Offsides. I'm Cotton. There's 4 of us in general, really 5. But we do everything everybody else does. We just do it a little different. Like to have a good time and try to stay a little high energy. Some days are, some days we're kind of slouching a little bit. Today's not one of those days because we're feeling fantastic. Why are we feeling fantastic? Well, because the tide is rolling, boys and girls. So leave a big roll tide down in the comment section after you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let me hear it. Let me know where you're watching from. Alabama comes off a big victory, sloppy road victory, we'll say. There were some instances in that game where they looked a lot like how they did down in Tallahassee. They've got 2 more big road tests on the season, one at Columbia, South Carolina, which we now know that will be a 2 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. kickoff Central time. Goodness gracious, I'm talking too fast. 3:30 p.m. Central or Eastern time. See, good Lord. And then obviously the Iron Bowl at the end of the season, but you got Tennessee coming to town, Oklahoma coming to town, and then Eastern Illinois. So the Tide are about halfway through this gauntlet, right? They get through Tennessee this weekend. Oklahoma will be the toughest test on their schedule. Obviously LSU comes to town too at some point in time. That's not going to be an easy game, but as of right now, Alabama's on an absolute tear. They seem to be getting better in some facets of the game every week, especially on the defensive side of the ball, as they need to along that defensive front. Their pass rush is starting to look better. They're looking better against the run. They just faced Ahmad Hardy, who I understand has been running against crap teams all season, but the dude is a very, very good running back, one of the best Bama will face this season. And they shut his ass down for 52 yards. We said that everybody was kind of hoping that Bama's defense would have that Leonard Fournette type game, and they did. Nobody's talking about it, but they did. Wow. Who would have thunk it? Not me. I thought this was going to be a shootout. The score ended up being exactly what I said it would be, 27-24 Alabama. However, the game went a little differently than I thought it would go, and that is fine. Tennessee comes marching into town with a pass-heavy offense, a really good pass rush, and a sketchy secondary. So, Ty Simpson, it's your week to step up. You've Offensive Player of the Week twice now. Let's do it again. But what do the coaches think coming out of the Mizzou game? Well, first and foremost, Kalen DeBoer had a lot to say about how proud he is of this team. He equated it to being the best week-to-week building upon itself team that he's ever coached, which is good because, Alabama, I don't think this team has scratched the surface of how good they can be when they play well on both sides of the ball at the same time. And I think when it happens, it's going to be very scary. I think, personally, that if Alabama makes the playoff, that is when we'll see their best football, much like Ohio State last year. And it'll make them very, very hard to beat. The team that right now I think in the national field that I don't want to match up with would be Miami or maybe Ohio State, but I think Alabama can go neck to neck with Ohio State right now. However, DeBoer and this new personality that he's donned, Alabama fans, the black hoodie, it's like the symbiote, the Venom symbiote. for Kalen DeBoer. That black hoodie era as kickers suck on X says. He says, per Charlie Potter, shut up, show up, and do the work. And that is response to, obviously, Alabama fans have a lot of questions about who's playing who, why Alabama's playing so many people. Kalen DeBoer didn't shy away from questions about that, reminding fans that there's a lot that goes into deciding who's going to play, who's going to get, rep snap counts and things like that we're not privy to. In other words, we need to shut up and stop questioning him, but that's not what he was talking about when he said shut up. Sorry, didn't mean to put those two things together. However, he did get some injury updates as well. Obviously, Jam Miller, Derek Meadows are going to be in concussion protocol for now. Ryan Williams is a little banged up. Jalen Mbakwe is practicing. He hasn't been practicing. Jalen Hill has been sick. That kept him off the field last week. So Alabama's a little dinged up right now. We got some defensive guys who are out, but some stars have really stepped up. One particular that Alabama fans have been waiting on for a long, long time, Keon Keeley, had a big sack in that game. Kane Womack did not shy away from talking about Keeley when asked, and he said, hey, look, I know the fans have been clamoring for this guy for a long time. Kane Womack's reading your tweets, folks. He's reading your Facebook posts. But he was also asked a lot about the freshmen that are playing right now. Dijon Lee has stepped in, has been kind of splitting some reps with Damani Jackson. I believe he played more snaps than Jackson against Mizzou. Damani Jackson has been up and down this year so far, to say the least, especially in run support. But Kane Womack addressed it. He said, hey, look, you have to answer for the things we put on tape. What you do in practice and games ultimately determines playing time. Lee's trajectory is pretty good, right? There's some bust I've seen from him towards the end of the game. I think he actually, when he intercepted the ball, I think the guy that was kind of wide open down the sideline was his responsibility. However, he found himself mistakenly maybe in the right place at the right time. But he said, hey, look, he's certainly on a good trajectory right now, meaning that he's probably going to play some more. Dijon Lee is a big body guy. He's hard to throw around. He's very good in run support. Damani Jackson has been struggling in run support, taking bad angles, a lot of different things like that. So, I feel strongly that Kane Womack is kind of hinting at the fact that we'll see more of Dijon Lee Jr. as the season goes on. Sorry, I'm bringing something up so I can read to you guys and make sure I give you the right information. So moving forward, Kalen DeBoer also, the shut up comment really has taken the internet by storm, at least Alabama fans. But he's talking about the focus, what it's been during this kind of like part of the season. This is the part of the season where everybody kind of accepted that Bama's going to drop a game at some point, right? You drop a game right here, you beat LSU, you beat Auburn, you beat Oklahoma, that's okay. And we're not through the stretch yet. You still got to go to South Carolina. You've got Tennessee at home. That's a scrappy South Carolina team, no matter what. But with the way Alabama's defense is playing right now, I feel confident in both of those games. So, Alabama figuring out their best personnel groupings on defense, especially talking about Keon Keeley. Kalen DeBoer said, hey, look, you can expect to probably see more and more of him as we move forward. Now, I posted a video that's going to come out later today regarding Caden Proctor and how I kind of feel like Alabama needs to take their foot off the gas and using him as a skill position player. It's fun, but I'm worried that an injury or something is going to happen. Kalen DeBoer talked about him. Per Nick Kelly, they said they're going to keep using him in big moments. So I guess you're going to see more of them. So back to Keon Keeley. I got sidetracked here. Kane Womack is, he talked a lot about it. He said, I know our fans have been waiting on him to take the steps. He has a role for us now. I thought he did a really nice job in some pass rush scenarios. Womack talked about how impressed he was with Keon Keeley's patience. He has been extremely patient while at Alabama. And he discussed the fact that, he has been working on things off the field that he needs to work on, those things that have kept him from playing. And he's getting better and he's earning his time. Kane Womack also addressed the start that Alabama's defense had against Missouri. It wasn't just the start, in my opinion. It was also the that last scoring drive there by Missouri. But he pretty much said it was an unacceptable start, and he's not wrong. I mean, but he finished it up with saying that he thinks their best football is ahead of them. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now that Alabama's gone on this tear. I do think, and it's not just defensively. I think on both sides of the ball, Alabama's offense and defense are much, much better. Now, what about the offensive side of the ball? Well, Ryan Grubb doesn't say much, but he did talk about the right tackle position, and that is a position of question mark right now. That's a position of concern. And he's just talked about the consistency at that spot, how it's not there. If you watch that right tackle position, it's definitely not. Wilkin Formby he had a really nasty sack that he gave up that really kind of gave Mizzou the momentum they did to get back in the game there towards the end of the game, or excuse me, into the first half. That momentum building followed into the second half. Ty takes another sack, a strip sack, turned the ball over. Missouri scores and ties it up. Really, it should have been 24-7 going into that second half. Alabama, not finishing, and some of that is on the right tackle. Not all of it, but some of it is. But did the offense leave a lot on the table? Yeah, Grubb agrees that he absolutely did. He thinks it's an understatement. So, I do think that this team has a long way to go. I think that they are better than most people realize. I think that the coaches are excited about what they have in front of them because this team, they know how good this team can be. I think if this team fixes the right side of that line, are able to run the ball more consistently, they showed against Missouri that one drive that they can, but now you got to do it without Jam Miller again. All right. As well as defensively lock in. This is a national championship caliber team. We'll see how it goes. What do you think? Moving forward, how many more games does Alabama lose? And do they make the playoff? Tell me in the comment section below. Be as loud as you can. Thanks for hanging out with me. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands. Horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Subscribe to the channel. Roll Tide.